So let me share with you some of the things that we've done.
Yeah.
And this is as recent as last week.
Okay.
So I have a client and he sells a product that is a good fit for home offices, or anything.
Great.
It's something, if you want to bundle a bunch of things together and then put an elastic band around it, then you want to be able to label those.
Yes, sure.
How do you label a bunch of things put together with an elastic band? There is no such thing. So he invented this product. By the way, this gentleman is an inventor. He is an inventor. He invented something that to this day General Motors use.
That's incredible. We love working with inventors, and they meet a niche on Amazon that's really unique, and they make people's lives better, frankly.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so we're working with him. Of course, selling these things as one single piece is not an option because it's a band. It's a band type of product. So he sells them in packs. So he, in his own mind, he created these packs of 12. Even the 12 elastic bands with a nice little component, it's a very small item and low ticket item, which is not good. We don't want to sell low ticket items. So we said pack. So in the end, he said, look, Nick, you figure it out. I just invent. I don't understand this. You figure it out. So I sat down and working with my project manager, I said, what we need is we need to plug in the dimensions and the weight and the unit cost. And from that, I want something that's going to tell me for this many pieces in this tier, you can put this maximum number of core units. In this tier, you can put this maximum number of core units. So very simple. And then from that, just work out the margin. So that I can see exactly, okay, depending on, first of all, I don't want to guess how many pieces, and I want it to tell me how many pieces. Then all I need to figure out is how I'm going to pack it. That's it. So
I love it.
So we built this model. Okay. So as we are working through it, I'm trying to reverse engineer the numbers that Amazon has as for FBA fee. And by the way, I spent about 7-8 years in transportation and logistics, running my own company. So I'm intimately familiar with how shipping companies operate. So there is this concept of volume weight. In other words, people don't understand when I say, well, you need to consider the volume weight. Which one is greater? They don't understand it. So it's just for my listeners, my favorite joke to explain this is I ask the person, okay, which one is heavier? A ton of lead or a ton of cotton? Which one is heavier? And then they start giving me these answers. Oh, the cotton is heavier. No, the lead is heavier, but I can hold the cotton with. Say, listen to the question. A ton of lead and a ton of cotton. Which one is heavier? And then finally they say, well, they're the same. I said, of course. Now, if I was sending a vehicle to pick up a ton of lead versus a ton of cotton, how many vehicles will it take to load a ton of cotton? Because it takes up too much space. It says, oh, okay. So that's what it is. So what Amazon is doing is it's translating how much space the item takes up into an actual pounds that you can measure.
That's right. And sometimes they do, prefer weight. They'll take weight into account, right? Because particularly if they are looking at whether pallets can be stackable or not, because of course, if you can stack pallets, you can get more into a truck. So sometimes they'll change their calculation slightly to prefer one or another. But I love your story. It's great. And I love your calculator. It's awesome. We do the same thing where we look at whole suites of product lines and then we optimize within them. And then we're also optimizing for customer experience, like, the loyal customer bulk buy, the introductory offering to a customer, and putting like those kind of intangibles, right? It's not a number. There's not a number for a great introductory offer for a customer, but so we put kind of the soft data in with the hard data. But I love what you talked about. Our tool doesn't quite do what you said. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, let me tell you this. So this thing about using the actual weight versus that volume weight,
Right.
it's a very simple formula. What Amazon does is it basically takes the actual weight and then calculates the volume weight, which they provide the formula. It's all the dimensions multiplied, divide by 139.
Right.
That gives you the pound equivalent. And then they compare. Is that pound equivalent greater than the actual item weight? If that's the case, then they go with the pound weight. So they imagine, so if something is 1.3 pounds,
right,
actual, but their calculation shows 2.5, they're going to charge you for 2.5 pounds. And that's what becomes the FBA tier.
Right. So when you're looking at your margin, you really need that kind of expertise to help you understand why your margin is what it is and how to get out into a lower margin tier. And you're right, it could be dominated by weight, it could be volume. Amazon's a real stickler for the minimum dimension of a physical length of a package. If you're slightly over it, you get bumped up to another fee tier.